giving tradies and contractors around the globe the tools to run a modern business. You're listening to Toolbox Talks from the Site Shed. Now here's your host, Matt Jones.
Okay, welcome back to Toolbox Talks. I'm joined with my co-host, Ben Steiner, and we're talking about big business, really. Ben has run an empire in the past. He doesn't do that anymore. He got out of it, but we've got a series where we've broken it down into 4 sections. In the last episode, we spoke about how to not overcapitalize and run lean. In this episode, we're talking about how to build a $12 million business. Now, Ben, you're one of the few people that I know that's actually that's had the runs on the board in that regard. What is the progression to growing a $12 million business? How does it get that big?
I guess it depends on your vision and what you wanted to do. You know, like in the last episode, I was talking about how, you know, I had 10, 20 guys, and then I thought if I can do it in this area and in this system, there's no reason why I can't pick it up and go other places. So, and that's how we grew. And then there's other services that, other than plumbing, which was what we originally did, like building and electrical, that instead of going and hire an electrician, we employed one.
Right.
And then when we were out on the jobs, we would give incentive to the plumbers or the builders to plug work for the electrician, and vice versa. So they'd get a little bonus for on selling extra work. So,
yeah, okay. So it started as plumbing?
It started as plumbing.
Yeah.
I did do building with my father because he was a licensed builder as well, but it all started as plumbing.
Yeah, okay. So then, like, was that just through an observation? You thought, you know what, we're getting a lot of call for electrical work here. Why don't I just bolt on electrical?
Yeah, well, every time we ripped a service out or had to move a service, we'll pay a contractor to do it. So I thought, well, why are we doing that when we can sit ourselves?
Repair my own muck-ups.
Yeah. Completely true. But so that's how it started. It was just a need, and we just went from there.
Yeah, wow. So how many I suppose at the peak, how many guys did you have running?
There was 65 staff altogether.
Wow. How many trucks was that?
Oh, we had over 40, somewhere between 45, 50 trucks.
Good guy. That is, man, that must get pretty. How do you run an organisation that big? So what kind of managerial structure did you have in place for that to run smoothly? I mean, you can't just have 65 tradies running around.
If I look at it I like to look at it in a practical point of view. I had a marketing person.
Yeah.
The phone call rings. The call center person picks up the phone, answers it, takes it, books it in. Dispatch allocates it. So we had probably about 7 people answering the phones, 2 dispatchers. And then you think about, okay, you got to give someone a truck. We had 2 guys down the workshop kitting out trucks, restocking them, oil, brakes, filters, any other jetter repairs or any other maintenance what they do. So we'd give them a fully equipped truck, so it had everything they needed in it. Concrete saws, jackhammers, the whole lot. Obviously, we had a roof over that. We had 2 factories. And then before the guy goes out, he had to be trained. So I'd train the guys every week. That's sort of my forte. I can do lots of things, but I'm good at that. And then they'd go out and hopefully make you money. And we had systems where we'd measure how much money they brought in for the week. They get a bonus if they did well. If they didn't, they'd get brought in, and we'd do a one-on-one review of them and see what was wrong, and make sure that mini little business was making money every week.
So did you have guys out in the field that were kind of overseeing the technicians, or was that you?
No, we did have senior guys out there who would go around and check things, but a lot of the guys, if they got a call back, they wouldn't get the bonus. So we would enforce quality work by, from the incentives. So it was in everybody's interest not to get a call back and make sure the job's done right the first time.
Okay.
And we train that as well. So a few guys slipped through the cracks, but eventually they would, get caught up, and we'd either punt them or would iron out the wrinkles.
Yeah. And so does that often come back to training, do you think? I mean, I guess you're always going to find some people that just don't fit the model, but...
Yeah, I think you've answered it. Yeah. But yeah, training's a big part of it. And like I was talking about in the last talk we had was about that momentum of, how you operate. So once you set the pace and the standard, then usually everybody else follows. So you got to keep that up.
Yeah. So I read somewhere that the bigger the business, the bigger the problems. Everything kind of gets compounded with scale. Tell us about some of the struggles that, you had in running a business, a $12 million business in the space of maybe staff, clients, marketing, facilitation, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, there's heaps of problems. Is
it true that the bigger the business, the bigger the problem?
Yeah, definitely, because people get away with things a lot easier because it's the accountability drops off.
Right.
It's harder to have. It's hard to have someone who's anal about making sure everything's right and who can lay down the law.
Yeah.
I never had a problem with that because I knew what I wanted, and I just go out and do it. In some times in my life, I doubted myself, which I shouldn't have. I should have just kept plugging away and did it my way.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had all sorts of problems. We had media problems.
Yeah.
We had staffing issues because the grass is always greener on the other side, or some of we had a lot of companies that would poach our guys because I'd spend the time training them up and they get really good, and then someone would drive past them in traffic and say, "I'll offer you $4 an hour more."
Right.
And then, I've invested, hundreds of hours in them.
Yeah.
And what do? You can't just keep paying guys more money. It never ends.
Yeah.
So all that, where we get a smaller team, it's all a bit closer and everybody's more accountable and less, there's less cracks.
Yeah. Shorter ropes.
Yeah. 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 It's more personal too. It's not just this guy who's, running around with his head cut off. And, you don't really know, you don't really care,
Yeah. Just a number.
Yeah.
I mean, it must get to a point where you got 65 staff on hand that, it must get a bit like that. You've got so many people coming in and out of the business. It's hard to sort of form that tight-knit group, I would imagine.
Yeah, I knew everybody by name. I mean, there's people out there now that say, "Oh, I worked for you," and I honestly don't remember because I sacked a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And but the good guys I always remember, and I keep in contact with them on Facebook, and the guys that I got along well with, so yeah.
What about clients? Like, how do you, I imagine, I've spoken to a couple of business owners that have large businesses, and they often come back to sometimes it's, the clients are very often, one of the hardest struggles in a business. And they say the bigger they get, the harder the problems are with their clients. Did you come across any, how do you keep your clients in line when you're running a business of that size? Like, are there systems in place, or is there, how do you keep everyone happy? Well, I suppose you can't keep everyone happy, but how do you try to keep them happy?
I don't know if I was all that good at that. Look, at the end of the day, what happens is when you get really big, you get attacked on all levels. You get attacked by the media, you get attacked by your competition because they see your trucks everywhere. Yeah. So you got to remember that you're this faceless person, and I had my big head on the side of the truck, and they'd say, "Oh, that guy, they charge this, but they don't take in consideration of the quality of the work that we're doing and the service that we'll provide in same-day service." And can I say it? Yeah, people just...
Like, the clients, do you think do you think they go after you because of your profile in some stages?
It's faceless. The answer is that if you're a one-out guy and you're dealing with a client, you know exactly everything you've said to them. So that when they ring you up and they start telling porkies, they're not going to get away with it.
Right.
But if they ring a call center and they get the call center person, and the call center person doesn't want anything to do with it, they just pacify them and listen to them on the phone until they can get it over to the person who deals with refunds and complaints.
Yeah.
And then that person's got to work through it, and the original two people aren't talking. Like the person that did the job and the person that was the customer aren't talking. And maybe that's the answer more, is that I used to like sending the same guy back out there.
Yeah.
And get on the phone and have a three-way and say, okay, what happened? And then they can talk through it. And a lot of the time they go, no, I don't want him back, and I want a refund, and I want this and I want that. And you just got to give them the money and move on.
Yeah, okay. So with, you've talked a fair bit about the training days that you would run with your staff. What sort of things would you be training them on?
All the way from the start of the job to the end of the job. So preparation the night before, I'd even go down to the point, well, pack your lunch. Are all your clothes ready the night before? Are they clean and tidy? Do you have your overshoes in a certain position in your truck? Do you have your toolbox in a certain position in your truck so that when you pull up, everything's in it's got its own hole. So everything's systemized, so you're not sort of scrambling through a truck all the way through to walking up to the front door or the courtesy call before that, knocking on the door, knowing the customer's name, saying the right things, not being, even down to the point of not being specific in what the problem is, because you'll come up the door and you'll say, oh, Mrs. Jones, I'm here for your broken water pipe. And they'll look at you and they go, I told them on the phone that it was a leaking tap. I don't have a broken water pipe.
Yeah,
so
right.
Straight away you put them off. Just so those small details all add up to, at the end of the day, at the end of the point where you're going to get them to go ahead with a job and you've given them a price, you're building rapport all the way, and you're actually selling the job all the way up to that point.
I mean, I know a lot of the guys out there today, there's a lot of technology they use to kind of put that information in front of them. I don't know if that applied back when you're running your business, but, there's a lot of CRMs and project management, job management tools that, you can sort of have all that information available to your technician in front of their face. So when they do rock up to the job and they log in, they can kind of review all that stuff. Did you guys have all that as well?
Yeah, we just had SMS, mate.
Oh, right. Like as in text message?
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's they just got to use it.
Yeah.
And you got to reinforce to them that that's important, because at the end of the day, you'll win the job. You won't have to get bumped. You won't have to run to the next job. And if you do it right, you'll get a bonus for what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you'll have a happy customer, and your life's easier. It's not running around with your head cut off. And
yeah.
Yeah.
So would that have been your dispatch manager that handled that stuff? Sent them out their text messages and okay. Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, look, if I wanted to grow a $12 million business, what advice would you give me? Sit down, people. Yeah.
Well, look, my advice is it comes to a certain size where you got to work out. To me, you're in business to make money and to sell and get out. So that's my definition. Some people might have some other idea, but you constantly need to measure and make sure that the effort that you're putting in is generating money or more money for you as you grow it, or make it easier. Like, I mean, I had 10 guys at one stage, and I retired down the coast for about a couple of years, and I got bored down on the farm, and I was coming up at 2 days a fortnight. That was great.
Yeah.
And then when I had about 20 guys and I was growing, and we were making a lot of money. I remember we had months where I was making $150,000 profit straight off and all we're doing is going around doing block drains and leaking taps and toilets.
Yeah.
And I wasn't doing a real lot of work. I was at the gym a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So, you got to weigh up. And then...
So is that a testament? I mean, to me, that sounds like it's a testament of having the right procedures and systems in place for people to follow.
Right systems and procedures and people. Yeah.
But I guess even like from the people side of things, that comes down to the system you have on employing them, right? I mean, this might have been, perhaps this was a subconscious thing when you were hiring people, but I'm sure you would have followed some sort of formula, or you would have had something in your head when you were hiring people that, you were looking for certain things.
Yeah, you can do lots of things. You can have that personality profile with 4 different personalities.
Yeah.
Whether you're picking someone who's good at sales, or whether someone's a good technical installer.
Yeah.
Or a phone person,
I guess the reality is that at the end of the day, like, anyone can bullshit their way through a 15-minute interview, but it doesn't take long for their true colours to shine.
Yeah, you can only do what you can do.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times you just sit down and you talk to someone, and the best thing was just asking a few questions, and then for me just to shut up.
Yeah.
And then they just talk and talk and talk until you work out, who they really are and what they're about. Amazing what people will say. They don't even see it.
Maybe we'll save that for another episode, eh?
Could do.
All right. Well, look, I think that pretty much sums that up. I suppose my takeaways from that would be if you're going to, if you want to grow a business and you want to scale your existing business, then just, make sure that it's, all the processes that run it when it's small are in place. So when you are ready to scale, there's procedures that people can follow to make sure that you're getting the same result. That you're getting the result that at your level, at that grander scale. I think that's pretty much, to me, that's what I got out of it.
Either.
Say again?
Not too quickly.
Right.
And that's where I think, like leasing gear out, you can, it's, I don't know if it's the right word for it, but it's not organic growth. You know what I mean? Like if you've got to buy something and buy a truck with the profit that you've made, then that's great, and you've got the extra work there, then that's good. But if it's sometimes to be a bit fake to go and lease something and when you don't even have the work or you don't have the money,
Right.
So that could be something that if you did follow that old school system, that will keep you in a good position without growing too quick.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I imagine there would be circumstances where you do need to sort of sit back and say, okay, I need to take a bit of a gamble here. Because, I mean, if you're in a scenario where you do, say, for example, you did need to buy an excavator and you didn't yet have the contract, but that was as a result of you not having an excavator, would that be, I mean, does that ever happen? Or would you?
Well, it sounds like what you're saying is that you've got a plan for 12 months that'll pay for itself.
Right, okay.
Other than that, you go around the corner and you hire it.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. All right, cool. Well, any key takeaways you wanna drop on that episode, or you think we covered off on most things there?
I think we've covered most things.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Well, look, let's wrap that episode up now. We're pretty much on time anyway. So what we'll do is we're going to come back for the third episode in this series, and we're going to talk about how you can handle negative media. So stay tuned, listeners. We will be back, and that's a wrap. So if you haven't already, head across to the siteshed.com and register for our Toolbox Talks, where you'll be regularly sent great episodes just like this straight to your inbox, so you'll never miss one. If you want to join the community, you can head across to thesiteshed.com/members, where for a small monthly fee, you'll get access to regularly updated training material, as well as access to our forum where you can mingle and collaborate with trade-based business owners just like you from all over the world. If you're enjoying this podcast, please head across to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. We greatly appreciate it, and it helps us spread the word and reach the masses. Likewise, if you know anyone that might benefit from the content we create, then please go ahead and share this with them.
You've been listening to Toolbox Talks by The Site Shed. For more great content just like this, head across to thesiteshed.com and join the amazing community of savvy trade-based business owners.